Turning your experience into income without starting life all over again. This is Second Act Naija Season 2. Good evening, all my wonderful people. One of the biggest mistakes many professionals make after retirement is this. They assume income can only come from starting life completely from zero. So immediately after retirement, many people rush into unfamiliar businesses, trading products they do not understand, opening ventures disconnected from their strengths, copying what friends are doing, or investing emotionally instead of strategically. And unfortunately, some lose both confidence and money in the process. I'm sure you have heard many retiree stories, people losing hundreds of millions of naira. But I believe many professionals are overlooking something important. Experience itself has value. Your judgment, your perspective, your networks, your leadership lessons, your technical expertise, your institutional understanding, your negotiation ability, your crisis management experience, your accumulated wisdom can all become economic value. And that is what I want us to think about tonight, because many experienced professionals are sitting on enormous value without fully recognizing it. The goal of the second act is not always to start over completely. Sometimes the wiser path is learning how to redesign what you already carry. Experience is not expired, it is transferable. Stop thinking only in terms of jobs. Many professionals spent decades inside structured employment systems. And because of that, they unconsciously associate income only with salary, office, employment, or formal positions. But the world has changed dramatically. The world has moved on. Today, people earn income through knowledge, expertise, guidance, systems, visibility, teaching, influence, and problem solving, among many others. The second act requires a shift in your thinking. You need a paradigm shift. Instead of asking what organization will employ me, think in this more powerful way. Answer this more powerful question. What value do I already carry that people still need? That is a completely different mindset. Your experience solved problems for years, remember? Many professionals underestimate themselves because their expertise has become normal to them. But think carefully about this. For decades, organizations trusted your judgment. Systems depended on your decisions. People relied on your experience. Crisis required your interpretation, and institutions paid for your ability to solve problems. That experience did not suddenly become useless because retirement arrived. In many cases, people will still pay for your wisdom, for clarity, for guidance, for interpretation and experience. The question is whether you have learned how to package and position that value properly. This is one of the reasons why Second Act Naija exists, to help you package and position that value properly. Many retirees are wealthier in experience than they realize. Consulting is one of the most natural second acts for a retiree. One of the clearest ways professionals can convert experience into income is consulting. Why is this so? Because organizations still face those problems that were there when you were in employment. And experienced people like you still understand systems deeply. So that consulting may involve strategy, it may involve leadership, it may involve compliance, it may involve corporate governance, it may involve training, it may involve operations, communication, project advisory, institutional development, or industry interpretation, policy interpretation. And importantly, consulting does not always require large offices. Sometimes your experience itself becomes the product. Another point to note, teaching and training are powerful economies that you can think about in your second act. There's a growing hunger for practical knowledge all over the world, not mere theory. Real-world understanding, people who have real-world experiences like you. And experienced professionals carry lessons younger generations desperately need. Your years in banking, in public service, in the military, in engineering, in administration, in education, in healthcare, in media, or business may become learning platforms for many people. Sometimes you may also need to put yourselves together in clusters with other retired people to do some of these things successfully. Remember, teaching is not limited to classrooms anymore. Today, knowledge can travel globally through webinars like we are doing now, online courses, Zoom sessions, YouTube, LinkedIn, newsletters, and digital learning platforms. Many of us have the youngsters around us. They understand these things. Tell them to organize for you and they will set the platforms for you. Don't allow that knowledge to just lay waste in you. Your network is another thing I want to talk about. Your network has value. Many professionals forget something important. Over the decades, built trusted relationships, they built industry relationships. You have a name in your industry, institutional relationships, and relationships themselves carry a lot of value. Sometimes, second act opportunities emerge not from formal applications, but from reputation, your reputation in the industry. The trust you had, the credibility, and long-standing professional goodwill. That is why integrity matters so deeply across a career. Because eventually, reputation itself can become opportunity. Your reputation may become part of your retirement capital. Your experience needs to be repackaged. This is very important. Experience alone is not enough. It must be polished, it must be repackaged. You must understand what you are offering, who you are helping, and why your experience matters. Some retirees remain invisible because they never reposition themselves intentionally. The second act often requires clearer communication, visibility, adaptability, and learning how to present your experience in modern ways. Sometimes wisdom exists, but presentation is weak. That is why platforms like Second Naija exist. And unfortunately, the modern world rewards visible value. The second act may require you to learn again, and this is extremely important. Some people struggle economically after retirement not because they lack value, but because they resist adaptation. The world evolves every day, technology evolves every day, communication evolves every day, and meaningful reinvention often requires humility. You may have to learn from your own biological children. The willingness to learn again, adapt again, and evolve again is something you must have. Experience is powerful, but experience, when combined with adaptability, becomes even more powerful. I say to you, do not despise small beginnings. Many professionals damage momentum because they expect immediate large-scale success. But meaningful second acts often grow gradually. A few clients, a small audience, one workshop, one advisory opportunity, one training session, one mentorship platform, one idea developed consistently over time, and slowly a new structure begins to emerge. You may not need to start over. You may simply need to reposition what you already know. Finally, perhaps one of the greatest hidden tragedies is this. Many experienced professionals retire carrying enormous untapped value without realizing it. Years of leadership, lessons, insight, discipline, mistakes, relationships, negotiation, resilience, and institutional understanding quietly disappear because people never learned how to redesign experience into contribution and value. But retirement does not automatically erase your usefulness, and age does not automatically cancel your relevance. In many cases, experience becomes even more valuable when it is properly refined, when it is properly positioned, communicated, and intentionally deployed. Because the second act is not merely about income. In the coming weeks, we'll be showing you how to properly reposition yourself and repackage your experience for a meaningful and viable second act. It is about continued relevance, continued contribution, continued meaning, and the dignity of still having value beyond formal office. In our next conversation, we're going to examine a dangerous cultural assumption many professionals carry. I have tagged this the dangerous myth of resting after retirement. Because while rest is necessary, a life built around passive withdrawal can quietly become emotionally dangerous. And many people discover that too late. I'm Obayemi Oladipo, and this is Second Act Naija. Reinvent, rebuild, rise. Thank you.